5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Deducter bringing you set 3 of Jaedong vs. Zero in the ABCMart MSL round of 4. We have Jaedong as the white Zerg at the 1 o'clock position, and we have Zero as the brown Zerg. It looks like Jaedong's yellow Zerg apparently now at the 1 o'clock position, and Zero as the, I can't tell what the color, red Zerg at the 7 o'clock position. What exciting first two matches we had this series. First, Jaedong going 12 hatch, but defeated by Zero's 9 pool, being a build order sort of win. But then the second game, each player went for the exact same build, and this time Jaedong came out ahead, even though I felt at many points during the match Zero had gained a decisive advantage, but Jaedong able to come back and Zero just not able to finish Jaedong off. That is the Jaedong magic. Each player sending their overlord. They're gonna scout each other second. So let's see what builds each player goes for again on this map. Whether Jaedong's still going for 12 hatch, and I mean after your last game he basically told Zero, hey look, the first game I went 12 hatch, you went 9 pool, you won, but that was a fluke, because in the second game, I destroyed you, or, you know, at least beat you. I didn't destroy you, but I beat you with the exact same build. So Zero's gotta be thinking in his head, geez, I had a build or advantage. I felt like I almost won at several points that game. Why didn't I actually win? This time it looks like Zero might be going for 12 hatch, and I do not know what Jaedong is going for. Jaedong also going for the 12 hatch, so both players going for the exact same build again. I mean, both players going for the exact same build, not again. This is the first time they've done the same build. So let's see how good Zero's economic play is compared to Jaedong's. Pool going down for Jaedong here, and here we have a picture. I think that's... I was gonna say Stork, but that's obviously not. Actually, I don't know who that is. I think that's supposed to be Zero, judging by the glasses, but that doesn't look like Zero. Zero looks younger. That made him look like 5 years older. I mean, it's gotta be Zero. He actually does look a little bit, like just a tiny bit like a young Stork. Way back when Stork was a youngster, in like 2006. Anyway, both players has their pool down probably and are mining gas. So we'll see where the divergence might come in this game. Jaedong last game demonstrated that he had superior muleless micro, in my opinion, and control of the air. He knew what units to get to defeat Zero decisively in the air, and I'm not sure Zero is going to be able to cope with that. However, Zero did have reasonably good Ling strategies. He did a lot of run-bys. They would have been devastating if he had managed to occupy Jaedong's air force during that time. You know, even if you lose a few extra, well, not a few, but even if you lose some HP on your units, maybe even 1 or 2 muleless, I think it is worth it to kill more and more drones. Both players getting some Lings out. They've managed to see that they are not at the corner positions, I mean at the first scouting positions, so with the Lings moving across diagonally, they're going to pass each other and they're probably going to know what the deal is. It's so interesting to see how things are mirrored on the map, because the mini-map really is almost like a mirror image right now, just a diagonal line going down the middle. So both players have a couple Lings, looks like 8 or so, or 10 Lings. And layer should soon be finished, and they will both get start to get the Spire and manage to move their overlords in position for a scout, and they will both see that they went for the identical builds. Nothing else too exciting happening so far, so I think Zero, he's pretty clever, but he's not quite able to pull off the execution, I feel, in his cleverness, whereas Jaedong has shown ungodly control of his units. Looks like Jaedong's going to try to sneak one of these Lings past. Managed to sneak the Ling past both players with speed Lings, but the Ling doesn't ultimately get into Zero's base, so it doesn't really see anything too useful. Both players massing Lings outside the front of their bases. Jaedong is moving some of his Lings out, and so is Zero. Jaedong with his Overlord sees, though, that Zero is moving his units out, and Jaedong pulling back his Zerglings. Long line of Zerglings coming from Zero. That can be a bit vulnerable if you're ambushed. Looks like Zero might be trying to go in for attack. I'm not sure if I agree with this. Both players looks like they have roughly the same surroundings. It's hard to tell who's in advantage here. Massive battle. Looks like Zero's going to win the Ling battle fairly decisively yet again, but Jaedong just managed to put down one of the Sunkens. It must be that he didn't get as many drones as Jaedong, I felt. So Jaedong, again, protecting his base, not really losing anything that matters to him. No drone loss. Zero managed to secure a bit of an advantage in terms of ground army. It looks like Jaedong is pushing out with his Ling army. Zero needs to fall back and wait for his reinforcements. Both players are surely getting their meal list now. Evolution Chamber again going down for Jaedong. This is interesting. So he's got Scourge morphing too, as opposed to Mealess. Looks like he might be going for a similar thing. Zero pushing in, but getting warded off by that Sunken Colony. Yeah, I think he should probably fall back. But no, Zero once again going. The Evolution Chamber was just to block. And it looks like Zero is engaging. He's almost won, but he's forced to pull back. Again, too many Zerglings, and that Sunken critical defense building for Zero here. And I am running a bit out of breath casting such an exciting series. Seems like Zero, though, his Zergling army is tiny now in comparison to Jaedong's, and he's forced to withdraw. Zero does have some of his meal list morphed. Ooh, Scourge picking up one of the meal lists. Zero not careful there, not paying attention to his front, and things are not looking too good for Zero now, considering that his Ling offensive has been stopped. Jaedong has a superior number of Zerglings now. I think Jaedong has taken enough of advantage in this game that he would probably feel reasonably comfortable and confident. Jaedong now pushing out with his Ling. Zero trying to pick off one of these Overlords. I think Jaedong is going to mind that too much because Jaedong knows that he can win a decisive ground battle here. And I think that's what he's going to try to do. Zero has not been spending this time making Zerglings. Jaedong pushing with a massive army of Zerglings, and Zero has nothing with which to defend this attack. No, Jaedong not pushing for some reason. He's pulling his Zerglings back. Not 100% sure why that is. I also don't know what Jaedong's air force is like right now. Okay, now we see a shot of that. He's got Scourge, Mealess. Ooh, looks like Zero. He's trying to catch a Mealess with his Scourge too, but he's not having the same success that Jaedong does. Looks like Jaedong's trying to move some of his Lings into position, potentially for some sort of run-by attack, maybe after Zero moves units out of his base. That's what he's going to do. Zero, again, doesn't seem to be rebuilding his Lings. Both players seem to have similar Air Force. Jaedong a bit more Scourge-heavy. Well, actually, no, Zero's got quite a few Scourge here, too. Both sides' economy essentially unmolested. I mean, Jaedong was forced to pull some of his drones off for a little bit, but I don't think he's going to care too much about that. Looks like Zero has, and both players just maneuvering their air forces around the middle, not really choosing to engage just yet. I mean, these Zerg air-to-air battles can sometimes seemingly happen almost on a by accident, you know. It just so happens where the two air forces meet is where the battle takes place. Jaedong not having any luck sneaking Lings by Zero's perimeter there. Both air forces have grown pretty impressive now. Jaedong again seems to be slightly Scourge heavy in comparison with Zero. Doesn't look like Jaedong or Zero are building more Lings to really bolster their ground forces. They're going to focus purely on air force. So at this point, I might give Jaedong a slight advantage. Also, I mean, I would certainly give Jaedong advantage in terms of his air micro. Hold that thought. It looks like these two players might be going for an attack. Zero cleverly with a Scourge scouts this massive Scourge, massive flights of Scourge going all over the place. Nothing really happening. Both sides sort of pulling back at the last minute, and the engagement was broken off. Some Scourge died for both sides, but nothing too exciting happened. Jaedong now, though, critically sneaking his Lings by. Zero spots this, but Zero, I'm not sure he has enough Lings to deal with it, but Zero brings his Mulus back. He's going to be able to clean up this attack force sent by Jaedong. Jaedong, though, looks like he might be bringing his Scourging. Maybe he's going to use the Scourge to pin down the Mulus. Oh, Jaedong seems to have better positioning with his Scourge. Zero, though, now with lots of Scourge. I think it landed on Jaedong's. It's hard to tell who came out heading that fight, but Jaedong is withdrawing his Mulus, so that would suggest that Zero probably took an advantage. More Scourge! Oh, so many Scourge landing on Jaedong's Mulus. He could not afford that at that point. Zero chasing down Jaedong's Mulus, and Zero's going to take game 2. It looks like Jaedong's Air Force has been wiped out. I mean, I am just left in shock here that Jaedong, how did he manage to lose that battle? Both players seem to have roughly the same Air Force going in, and I didn't see, that Zero had such evidently superior muta control. But it doesn't look like Jaedong really has much of an Air Force. Like, ooh, another Mulus getting caught in the open. Jaedong can't afford to lose units like this. He doesn't have anything to protect his drone line, and Zero is now just going to town. No, more Scourge coming from Jaedong, though. He needs to land these Scourge. He needs to do lots of Scourge landing, but it just wasn't enough. Zero with too many Mulus. He's going to pick out the last Mulus of Jaedong, and then he's going to go to work on these drones, and it's going to be GG. GG coming from Jaedong. Incredible game 3. Incredible. I'm too excited for words. Let's go to game 4.
뮤탈스크로 따라가서 뒤를 잡겠다라는 게 이재동 선수의 생각이었는데 뮤탈스크의 움직임을 다시 보시면 알겠지만 뮤탈스크가 갈렸습니다. 스커지도 갈렸어요. 네.
자, 김명훈 선수가 세계 최초로 결승에 갈 수 있을지 네 번째 세트 일단 첫 번째 열수에 가 있습니다.